Good afternoon, everyone. I just first introduce a bit myself because I think I am, it may not be knowing me also. So, my name is Aparna and I work for ZTZ. And ZTZ is German Technical Corporation. It is one of the German government organization which is working in India for last 50 years. And our task is mostly on providing support, technical support to Government of India. And at this present, the unit that I am working in is called Sustainable Urban Environment. That's one of the unit under the umbrella of ASEM, which is Advisory Services for Environment Management. So that's what I come from, and I am an architect, urban planner. I am less of an architect and more of an urban planner. And I'm very glad to see Professor Mitra here, and something that I think may be of interest to you. And I would be very humbly saying it to you that this is an attempt that I'm making, and I'm very sure that a lot of information is already available on this. But the point also I'm trying to make it here is that I am not able to access all this information, because I keep hearing a lot of very sophisticated information, and especially when I go to the foreign universities, they say the Indian universities and the Indian system is so much better, what are you doing here? But when I start coming here, when I start working at the ground level, I really do not have any information. So, but everybody tells me it's available. You are not able to manage it. So it is your problem, not the data problem. But honestly, I tried a bit. I would not say that I have gone full-headed. I think I need to do much more hard work. I'm a lazy person by nature. But I have put in a bit of effort, but still I haven't got the basic data. So that is what is my presentation is all about. ZTZ is at this point of time is working in supporting Ministry of Urban Development in making city sanitation plan. As you know that we have recently, after so many years, made this National Urban Sanitation Plan finally. And we thought that we need a policy for it. And so we have made this policy, and now we are requesting all the states to make their city sanitation strategy. And all the cities, all the ULBs are now supposed to come up with their city sanitation plan. And what does this plan is supposed to do is make your cities completely 100% sanitized. And another aspect of it is that it should be open defecation free. So I thought it would be a good opportunity for us, because we are supporting 6 cities in India where we are working. But before we go and start working with these 6 cities parallelly, we can start working in Delhi, because that is where we are located and it is very much near to us. So we can be doing some small experimentation here. So this is what I have written. I am not sure whether you can read it, but that's my mistake. Too much of design. Okay, so basically that's what we are doing right now. And what we thought in Delhi we would do is, we would start understand what is this community toilet complexes. I do not know whether you know about it. There are 40% of the people in Delhi are into the informal settlements, and they do not have any access to individual toilets. And for an intermediary measure, we have made some community toilet complexes, and MCD is in charge of, which is in their jurisdiction, in charge of making this, managing these community toilet complexes. So we thought we will take this as an example, as an intervention point, and try to work on these community toilet complexes and make it much more resource efficient. That was ZTZ's idea. They didn't thought about something else, but they just thought make it more energy efficient, make it more resource efficient. That is a position that we first started working on it, and started engaging with the community to understand what exactly these toilet complexes are all about. Just to give you a very briefly how the community toilet complexes are, because I think people who are living here, we are sitting here in this particular, except for the public conveniences, we never have to use as such community toilet complexes. But in Delhi, under MCD, there are around 1250 CTCs on paper of MCD role, but there are unofficially 1500 community toilet complexes, but these are not all. There are also other agencies who maintain these community toilet complexes, and CTCs are also maintained in different ways. Like sometimes they are built by MCD, managed by an NGO. They are built by MCD, managed by a local councillor or a market association. So there are different ways it is being managed. This is also something that I got an information from a NGO who has worked at the ground level. So I'm not very sure whether we have missed out any information here or not. At the MCD level, I do not have this information that how many ways they manage their CTCs. So there is no systematic information that exactly how many numbers of CTCs you have and how they are managed, when they were built and with what funding they were built. So this information is not there at the MCD level, but different NGOs have worked with CTCs at different times, and they have generated their own resources, knowledge, material, and these are available in different sources. So this is what I was trying to say, that what are the different ways MCD manages their toilets. And also apart from MCD, there are other agencies like, say, railway authorities, airports, business communities. Everyone has their own way of providing public conveniences or community toilets, and these are managed in a very different way. So one of the information that I think is missing is how many community toilets in Delhi and who manages it, and how much resources, who provides water for it, how much resources goes into maintaining it. So these are the kind of gaps in the information that I'll come later. While I started working on it, I discovered another thing, because as a planner, the first thing I said, if I have to do anything in this area, I need a map. I need a sewage map of Delhi. And that is where my journey began, because I have been asking international agencies and everybody says, go to YAP, Yamuna Action Plan. So go to JICA, you will get it there. I went to MCD, and I discovered a new thing which I was not knowing myself, that it is a Delhi Jal Board which is in charge of sewage. So whatever shit that flows, they are in charge of it, but the source is with MCD. So the toilet is in charge of MCD, the shit is in charge of DJB, and the river is in charge of somebody else. So that triggered me to do a mapping of the institution. Who are the people who are in charge of that particular thing that we are producing? And it's very fascinating. I'm sorry, but after lunch, I should not be talking about it, but I think shit is very fascinating, and it's a big money thing. It's a big business. So this is where I think, all this e-governance bit, if we can look also into it from that perspective, the institution and who produces information, who accesses it, and how it is used, and what kind of information. And DJB, interestingly, doesn't have any specific policy for the informal sector. How you define informal, that is a different issue altogether. But they do not have any specific policy which would say that the sewage that is being produced from this unauthorized area, we have a special planning for that. So that also is the information that is not there. When you design or plan, or you kind of do a demand generation, how much we should plan for, there is no involvement of community there. This community is also a very fascinating word. But when it comes to maintenance, then the community comes in picture, and especially the women come into picture, as if they are the one who have to do everything. So that's another thing that I found is a very kind of a donor-driven whatever, but it's a very new paradigm that we are coming up with, that the user would be only involved when you have to start talking about the money part of it. So there I was trying to list, what are the missing informations that we have. And I find that, there is no definition of CTC. Like when do you say that this is a community toilet, and when do you say it's a public convenience? We don't actually at this point of time don't decipher. We say community toilet complexes also for public conveniences. That's something I think at the policy level it needs to be thought about. There is no comprehensive data. MCD sometimes say when they have tendered the maintenance of it, they say 1250. In their document, they sometimes write 1550, so the figure keeps changing. And that is not all. There are other agencies who have community toilets, so how many are those? That is not being listed. Another thing that I find, this is at one level, when I start working at a very community level or at a very local level. But when I also interact with SPA, their School of Planning and Architecture, there I get to hear all these very sophisticated words, which is very, again, interesting. It's called SDI, Spatial Data Infrastructure. And this is fantastic. If I have those information, and then I got to know that Delhi has made it, Delhi Spatial Data Infrastructure. But when I visited the website, but I think I should not be very impatient because it has just started, and I'm very sure the information is going to be uploaded there. But right now there is no information on that. But they have mapped the entire city, they have mapped the entire utilities, it is all there. It is claimed that it is all there, and I'm very sure it's there. But right now it is not in the public domain. And the debate that is going on, that when I asked the NDMC official, the person who presented before, that I have to be fast? I cannot speak more fast than this.
Please wind up.
Okay, I can, but that's not fair.
No, okay.
Because you just gave me 5 minutes and then you say wind up. And when it comes to other things, then you say, okay, you go on. No, I will not. I have to take at least 5-7 minutes. Because this partial data infrastructure is something that I think is going to be our future. And for the planning, this is going to be a very interesting tool and a very sophisticated tool. But how much information would be in the public domain and how much information would be available to planners and how our municipalities are empowered to use this information is something I think that needs to be looked into much more detail. And I would request SPA to really look into it, because right now it's a kind of the spatial data is not being used. Like when you say city has 236 slums, but how many square kilometers of slum is something that is more important to make a policy level decision. Like when I say community toilets, how much of area it is covering and where are they located in the city. That is something, the spatial references are more important than just the numbers of it. Jokes apart, I'll finish it quickly, don't worry. So we are supporting this InScare NGO, whom we supported to carry out a baseline study, where we went, actually I did this, I'm not a GIS person, but I did this effort with a student, that we went to the 80 cities and we kind of did the GPS mapping and then tried to map it on a Google map and then started analyzing it spatially. It would be good to have a satellite image, but we cannot afford that right now. So what we thought, we'll use the Google map and then use it there and locate all these things. And what it gives as a interesting thing, the toilets and the density of the area, you can see it. And where are these toilets located is interesting. You can make some analysis out of it. What I require now is a sewage map. If I can overlay with the sewage map of Delhi, then we can make a, kind of a spatial analysis where the sewage map goes and how it goes. So I've been requesting MCD, DJB to share the sewage map, that it would be good for us to do the further analysis. We are trying to make a unique ID for the CTC and then make all the attributes. This is a work in progress, I'm just showing you the glimpse of it. So we are trying to make the data collection in such a way that we can have information that we can be, each toilet can then have certain attributes with it. What we did is that we took the map from the Yamuna Action Plan, which is on the website, which is on the Yamuna Action Plan website, and then digitized it. And I'm just doing right now for one small zone in Karol Bagh. That's what we have been doing. And then we are helping this NGO to figure it out, whether it really makes for them, how do they control their revenue and expenditure. And what we found is that they are really breaking even, they are making actually profits right now. Basically, I think some of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is that right now the information is available more on a quantitative basis and not on a spatial basis. And I would really like to insist on this, that until and unless we have a spatial data, it is very difficult to take certain decisions, technological decisions, financial decisions, and also policy level decisions. And that information has to be there, and it is with all the institutions. But how much of you put it into the public domain is the issue. Thank you.